Julian Vance rolled over on the vast expanse of the king-sized bed, his long, lean legs crossing as he sat up. He lit a slim, menthol cigarette. Daylight streamed against the blackout curtains, but the room remained a cavern of shadows and dim light. The air was thick with the faint, intimate scent of the night before. His phone on the nightstand vibrated softly, the screen flashing to life. Julian, still drifting in the quiet aftermath, ignored it. Asher Hayes, propped against the headboard, watched him with a deep frown etched between his brows. He was a strikingly handsome man, but a natural melancholy in his features often gave way to a look of profound sorrow when he was upset. His gaze drifted from the angry red marks blooming across Julian's back to the gray rings of smoke dissipating in the air. He glanced at the silent phone before finally speaking, his voice raspy. He pointed out that the phone on the nightstand had lit up. Julian took another drag from his cigarette without turning around. His response a low murmur. He told him he could look if he was so inclined. The words were a casual dismissal, a subtle sting of humiliation for Asher. But he was the one in need of a favor, so he swallowed his pride. He rubbed his temples before reaching for the device. The screen illuminated a single message from a prominent crisis management expert in the industry. Mr. Vance, the Asher Hayes situation has been neutralized. The message was a bomb, soothing the anxiety that had gnawed at Asher for days. He asked if everything was resolved now. Julian's reply was flat, his tone as indifferent as if he were inquiring about the weather. Asher confirmed that it was. He placed the phone back on the nightstand and shifted closer, wrapping his arms around Julian from behind. He began to press soft kisses against the pale, elegant column of his neck, whispering his thanks. A wave of irritation washed over Julian. He was growing to despise these postcoital embraces from Asher. In the context of their arrangement, they felt superfluous, a cloying and unnecessary performance of affection. He didn't push him away, nor did he respond to the seemingly sincere gratitude. Instead, he asked, seemingly out of nowhere, if Asher remembered how long they had been together. The question caught Asher off guard, a knot of panic tightening in his stomach. He forced himself to remain calm, his voice steady as he answered that it had been 5 years. He recalled that Julian was only 23 when they first met. Julian let out a soft, mirthless laugh. He reminisced in a wistful tone about how quickly time had passed, observing that Asher had transformed from an unknown actor into an Oscar-winning star. Asher tightened his grip, attributing his success to Julian's help. A strange sense of foreboding crept over him, and he held on tighter, as if to physically prevent Julian from slipping away. Julian flicked the ash from his cigarette with 2 slender fingers. He remarked that Asher had always been a talented actor, and that he had certainly made him a great deal of money. Asher savored the praise. It made him feel, at least for a moment, that he was still valuable to Julian. But his relief was short-lived. Julian stated with a chilling placidity that it was time for them to end things. The words were spoken so calmly they were almost cruel, a polished blade sliding cleanly into Asher's heart. He had imagined this day for years, playing out countless scenarios in his mind, rehearsing his responses. But now that the moment had arrived, he found himself speechless, his throat tight and his mouth dry. Julian offered what he considered a kind explanation. He had a rule: he never kept lovers past the age of 26. He noted that he had already made an exception for Asher for 2 years. Asher was 28 now. Age? Asher thought with a bitter, silent laugh, what a ridiculous reason to end things. He had known about his patron's peculiar, exacting principle from the very beginning. Julian believed a man's physical prowess declined after 25, and he refused to let it affect his personal satisfaction. Once a lover crossed that threshold, they were discarded. Asher had lasted the longest. He had once thought, with a cynical sneer, that if Julian were a king, he would be the queen of the harem, the most favored, the most successful. But in reality, Julian had never truly valued him. He had probably been planning his dismissal for some time. Asher had watched others come and go. Some treated it as a pure transaction, taking a generous severance package and moving on without a second thought. Others had fallen deeply, creating messy, desperate scenes that nearly destroyed the careers Julian had built for them. Asher had his pride. He would not beg. For 5 years, he had relentlessly maintained his physique at the gym, his skincare regimen meticulous, confident that even nearing 30, he could still outperform anyone. His composure finally broke. He demanded to know why, his voice raw and cracking, insisting there was nothing wrong with his performance. Julian met his desperate gaze with cool indifference. Because he was the one who made the rules, he explained. His decision was final. He reached out and gently cupped the actor's chin, his touch light yet proprietary. Just as it had been the day he had singled Asher out from a line of hopefuls and personally signed him to the studio. He buried any hint of vulnerability deep within himself. He told Asher that he no longer needed him. The truth was the exact opposite. The once quiet, awkward young man was now a titan of the industry, with connections, resources, and critical acclaim. Asher Hayes no longer needed Julian Vance. But that was a truth only Julian seemed to understand. For Asher, regardless of his own status, Julian remained an essential part of his life. He sat on the edge of the bed for a long moment, a defeated slump to his shoulders, before letting out a dry, pained laugh. He pointed out they had been together for 5 years. Even if Julian had only considered him a pet dog, surely some affection would have developed by now. Julian's fingers paused for a fraction of a second on the button of his shirt. He said nothing more. Once dressed, he picked up his phone and left the room without a backward glance. Julian Vance was a product of old money and a strict upbringing, his style impeccable. He was typically seen in tailored suits, a picture of corporate polish. He hadn't expected his meeting with Asher to leave him so agitated, nor had he anticipated ending up in a dive bar. Now, his pristine suit stood in stark contrast to the chaotic energy of the place. A young singer in a leather jacket and ripped jeans was belting out a rock song on a small stage, his voice occasionally cracking. A crowd of bodies writhed and jumped around him. Julian took a seat at the far end of the bar and loosened his dark brown tie with an irritated tug. He ordered a dry martini from the bartender. He wasn't much of a drinker, especially not hard liquor, but tonight he wanted to feel the burn of oblivion. The bartender slid the elegant glass towards him. Julian took a small sip, the sharp, dry taste stinging his tongue as the unique botanical aroma filled his senses. His mind inevitably drifted back to the event that had set all this in motion. A week ago, on Asher's birthday, Julian had finished a business trip early and flown directly to the film set in Los Angeles, a gift in hand, planning a surprise. But outside the presidential suite he had booked for Asher, he heard noises. He used his keycard. The door swung open silently. He saw Asher on the bed with a young man, clearly another actor from the set, who moaned Asher's professional name, Mr. Hayes, in the throes of passion. They were so engrossed they didn't hear him enter. Julian couldn't quite define the emotion that gripped him in that moment. It was a cocktail of bitter amusement and self-reproach. He had broken his own cardinal rule by keeping Asher for so long, by allowing something akin to attachment to form. He had been a fool. He stood there in the doorway, a silent specter, watching for a moment before a humorless smile touched his lips. He turned and left, pulling the door gently shut behind him. The click of the latch finally startled the two inside. The young man, terrified, pulled a sheet over his head. Asher, more composed, threw on a robe and checked the hallway, but it was empty. The sound had been real, not their imagination. He later questioned hotel staff, who insisted no duplicate keycards had been issued. Asher didn't believe them. The thought of being exposed, a gay affair combined with a clear abuse of power, could end his career. He couldn't handle it alone. So he concocted a story for Julian, a tale of a stalker who might have taken compromising photos of him in the shower. On the phone, Julian had laughed, a light, airy sound that belied the cold fury inside him. He had dismissed it as a mere obsessed fan and promised to take care of it. After hanging up, he walked to the nearest airport trash can and dropped the brand new, exquisitely wrapped Patek Philippe watch inside. Then he boarded the next flight back to New York. A week later, which was today, he had arranged for the publicist to send the problem-solved text at a specific time. He had summoned Asher for one last encounter, one final performance, before severing the ties completely. Julian was certain Asher no longer needed his help. After all, Asher himself had once used their relationship to climb the ladder. Now he was powerful enough to offer that same ladder to others. How impressive. Julian propped his head on his hand, swirling the clear liquid in his glass. He wondered how Asher could possibly think him heartless in this situation. Didn't the man feel even a sliver of guilt? It didn't matter anymore. He had thrown Asher away. He had finally thrown him away. The thought should have been liberating. He felt an urge to order champagne to celebrate this momentous occasion. The liquor burned down his throat, and for a moment it did feel like a victory. Even when drunk, Julian maintained a quiet composure. He slumped over the bar, his head resting on his arms, phone in front of him. His finger traced lazy patterns across the screen, scrolling through his contact list. He used one phone for both personal and professional life, finding two devices a hassle. To keep things organized, he marked his lovers with a Z before their names, which sent them to the bottom of the list. Evan, too impulsive, too clingy, he mumbled to himself, recalling his experiences with each one. Seth was too reserved, too timid. Asher's name had been there until that morning, when Julian had deleted the Z, wanting him out of sight and out of mind. As he scanned the list, he noticed a contact at the very top of the Z group with no name attached, just a single solitary Z. He tried to recall who it could be but drew a blank. He must have forgotten to add the name when he saved it. Fine. It saved him the trouble of choosing. He pushed himself upright and typed out a message to the mysterious Z. Southside, the 1970. Come get me. Condoms your job, room mine. He attached his current location. Cole Miller had been a professional actor for exactly 1 year, if you could call it that. His grades in high school were mediocre, so he had pivoted to the arts, landing in a third-tier university's acting program. He'd managed to sign with a small production company right before graduation, thinking his big break was finally here. Then the industry hit a downturn, and the company folded. In the current climate, small companies weren't hiring, and the big ones wouldn't look twice at him. Life had to go on. He decided to find part-time work to make ends meet. Rent in New York City was brutal even with a roommate. With the end of the month approaching, he had less than $500 to his name. After a few desperate days of searching, his good looks and tall frame landed him a one-night gig as a waiter at a private gala. The pay was $2,000, enough to solve his immediate rent problem. The job was strange. Besides serving, he was expected to drink with the guests if they asked. Cole wasn't worried. He could hold his liquor. During a pre-event training session, the supervisor sternly warned them that the guests were powerful elites. Every request was to be met no matter what. The client must be kept happy. Cole figured he could handle a bit of forced smiling. The night of the event, he learned it was a birthday party for the youngest son of an internationally acclaimed director. This meant major industry players would be present. For Cole, it was a golden opportunity. If he got noticed by someone from a major studio, his future could change in an instant. With that thought, he straightened his spine and carried a tray of appetizers toward the main table. The man sitting there was someone he recognized instantly, Julian Vance, the CEO of Ethel Arts, one of the big 3 film studios. Dressed in a relaxed white blazer, Julian was leaning back in his chair, a glass of red wine in his hand, his gaze fixed on something across the room. Cole followed his line of sight and saw Asher Hayes, the 2-time Oscar winner, laughing with a group of people. Asher Hayes was his idol, the man whose career he had admired for 4 years. Cole froze, completely starstruck, the tray of appetizers forgotten in his hands. It was Julian who noticed him, turning his head to see a waiter staring blankly into space. Amused rather than annoyed, he gently prompted Cole, asking if he could have the appetizers. Cole snapped back to reality, his face burning with embarrassment. He quickly placed the tray on the table and bowed repeatedly, stammering apologies. As he straightened up from a deep bow, a hand, pale and perfectly manicured, reached out and cupped his chin, gently forcing his head up. Julian's eyes scanned his face, a slow, appraising look. He commented that Cole had a nice face. Cole, still flustered, just stared back. A knowing smile played on Julian's lips. He realized this young man, who couldn't be much older than 20, was genuinely naive. He pulled a card from his wallet, scribbled a note, and tucked them both into the breast pocket of Cole's uniform. The note contained a private number and bank account details. Julian leaned back, a disarmingly frank smile on his face, and told Cole to come find him at the same hotel the next night, and to bring a clean bill of health. It took Cole a moment to process the implication. Julian Vance wanted to sleep with him. This was a first for him. He stood there, completely at a loss for how to respond. He wasn't opposed to men, but the suddenness of the proposition left him reeling. He wanted success, he wanted money, but selling his body was a decision that required serious thought. Julian saw the conflict on his face and chuckled, understanding. He offered a piece of friendly advice, suggesting it wasn't a safe environment for someone like him and that he should leave early. He assured him he would still be paid in full. Cole internally scoffed. What danger could a grown man possibly be in? The most dangerous person here seemed to be the man offering to buy him for the night. He thanked Mr. Vance and turned to leave. He glanced back once and saw Julian walking directly toward Asher Hayes. He noticed how Asher's hand instinctively went to Julian's waist before quickly dropping away. When Julian turned his head to speak to the young actor, there was a light in his eyes, an unspoken current flowing between them. Cole wondered if they were together but quickly dismissed the thought. He wouldn't tarnish his idol's image with such speculation. In the end, Cole did leave early, not because of Julian's, but because of a phone call. It was his sister, Mia, her voice choked with sobs. She told him something had happened to their dad. He was in the hospital. The doctors said it was a glioblastoma, stage 3. Without surgery, he only had a few months. She was crying too hard to speak clearly. Cole asked how much it would cost. Between the surgery, hospital stay, and other expenses, she said they needed close to $90,000. For their family, it was an astronomical sum. Their mother had passed away from cancer years ago. Their father was living on a meager retirement pension. Mia was a schoolteacher with 2 kids of her own, barely making ends meet. And Cole was unemployed. They had no savings. The weight of it all was crushing. For a moment, Cole felt the sting of tears, but he couldn't break down. His family was counting on him. He told his sister he might have a way and would call her back. He hung up and rushed to the nearest ATM. He inserted the card Julian had given him and entered the password from the note. The card was one Julian kept for miscellaneous expenses. The balance was $100,000. To Julian, it was a small amount. To Cole, it was a lifeline. If one night could save his father's life, it was a price he was willing to pay. With a clenched fist, he transferred the entire amount to his sister's account. Then, he sent a contact request to Julian Vance on a secure messaging app.